I used to be a teacher of African students years ago, training them to be teachers. And basically, I told them this: people remember 30% of what they hear, 60% of what they hear and see, and 90% of what they hear, see, and do. So don't leave your pupils just sitting at a desk listening to something. Get them involved in doing something which indicates they've understood the lesson. And God follows the same principle. So He doesn't just teach us in theory. He lets us see things, and He lets us enact things. And water baptism is an enactment, a fresh enactment every time it takes place of the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. And in the early church, you could not get into the church unless you went through that enactment of the faith that you'd professed. See, it wasn't enough just to say, I believe. They had to act out their belief. Now, once you've been buried and raised again, your life does not belong to you. And if you want to go on living your own life, you should not be baptized, because baptism is your death sentence, and then it's your resurrection. But when you're resurrected, your life does not belong to you, you see. It's a commitment to discipleship. In Matthew 28, at the end of the chapter, Jesus told His disciples what they were to do in proclaiming His gospel. Matthew chapter 28, verses 19 and 20. He said, "Go therefore and make disciples of all the nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all things that I've commanded you. And lo, I'm with you always, even to the end of the age." So He said, go and make disciples of all nations. He never told us to make church members. Did you notice that? You know, the biggest problem in the church today is church members who are not disciples, because they misrepresent the truth that we're trying to proclaim. If you're not willing to be a disciple, you have no right to be baptized. Baptism is a commitment to discipleship. They didn't spend a lot of time teaching them before they were baptized, but once they'd made the commitment, then they taught them. See, that makes sense. Why waste time teaching uncommitted people? Let them prove their commitment and then begin to teach them what they need to know. See, I've been through this in a mission in East Africa. They spent weeks teaching the candidates for baptism. But in actual fact, at the end of that, what they often did was baptize pagans. They'd got the head knowledge, they never had the heart experience. And they never made a real commitment to Jesus. So I was led to analyze this, and I'll show it to you in a little while. But let's just consider now the requirements for Christian baptism.